Well, this is Vision Sunday 2018, and I've entitled today's message, Get Ready. Get ready. This is going to be an incredible year. So with this being the first Sunday of the year, we want to start it off right. We want to be highly informed and be ready for all that God is going to do through our lives in this year. Habakkuk 2:2 is our scripture today. It says, "And the Lord said to me, write my answer on a billboard, large and clear, so that everyone can read it at a glance and rush to tell others." And that's what I want to do today. I want to lay out a vision of some things that are to come in our very near future this year of what God is going to do. And I want to make that as plain as possible. But before I do, I want to help you to understand, though many of you already do, but I just want to bring it back up again, just how resourceful our church is. I don't know if you realize this or not, or can really sense the full impact of what we've been able to do over the last couple of years. But if you were to take in most churches building a building of this size would average somewheres between $5 and $8 million to do a project like we have done. And we did it all on $2.3 million. That's all we owe on this place. And we put in probably somewhere between another $500,000 to $700,000 in cash. And it is really remarkable, the resourcefulness of our church. And I just want to go over some things that we did here that we actually did not plan to do. Or let's say the banks did not plan on giving us the money to do, but we were able to do it. They were just hoping that we'd get a building up and be able to worship in it. But a lot of things were planned to be left unfinished. One of those things that was planned to be left unfinished was actually not even put on at all, and that was our beautiful entry that we have out here, which gave us the Mummy's Lounge and the place where our baby aces are, our baby's room, and also the beautiful guest lounge that we have and that glass entry. None of that was supposed to be there. There was supposed to be two doors that you just walked in to the lobby through. But we were able to do that out of our own management of the loan. And so that's something that we were able to do. Another thing that I love so much is our 3-car garage back here. We got a big 3-car garage. It's not near big enough. All the things that have happened in there. I mean, just the amount of people that we had in that garage. It's heated, it's air conditioned, and it was designed for a dual purpose. And we got to fulfill that purpose during our flight before Christmas as we filled the place wall to wall with people. It's pretty cool when you have 100+ people backstage during a big production. Nobody have any idea all the stuff that's going on back there, but there's just so much happening. And so we're just so thankful that we were able to do that garage, even though it initially was not in the budget to do. The other thing was the second floor was just supposed to be a slab of concrete with just the stubbing up of the bathrooms and things of that nature, and then everything else. We didn't really plan to be able to have enough money to do that, but we managed well, and we finished the upstairs, and we have more that we want to do up there. But I can tell you, our staff loves the administration part of our church up on that second level. I just want to help you, understand something. For the last 14 years, we have not seen sunlight. At least while we were working. Okay, well, I mean, we have seen sunlight in the last 14 years. It isn't quite that bad. But when we would go to church, it was kind of like walking into a little bit of a dungeon. Now, we did what we could, to make it a great environment to work in, but there was two problems. The first problem was we didn't have windows. And so sometimes it would get a little stuffy in the back wing that we worked in. And number two, the second problem was Alan Hurley, our technology pastor, he had an office that was full of computers and technology with fans and heat. And so we only had one temperature to run the whole wing, as a lot of conventional buildings are built. You have multiple rooms with one thermostat. And so he would have to turn it down. So we would be like 55 degrees in one room freezing while he was just comfortable at 68 degrees. And he didn't care about the rest of us. And we would just do everything that we could to try to cool his room down, because he would have the air conditioning on. He would want the air conditioning even in the wintertime, and we'd be freezing. So we did everything we could to balance that out. So now I said, then when we build this new building, two things are going to happen. Number one, every office is going to have windows and a beautiful view. And we've got windows in every office, and it's a beautiful view of our ball field and people entering and just looking out across the property. And many times people are up there working and they got the windows open and letting the fresh air come in, because every office gets to control their own temperature. Because number two, we put Mitsubishi split units everywhere, which we have 55 of them throughout the building. And I'll have you know that from when we were in the other building, spending close to $4,000 a month on our utilities, this building runs under $2,000 a month. We are the most economical building, I would dare say, for its square footage. We are the most green and economical building in the county, if not the state. I keep telling people this, and they are just amazed. Literally, we turned off every one of the units back here a week ago, and we had like five or six of our units on, because we wanted to see if it would still heat the building. Now we have 55 of them. We turned everything else off. We actually turned the air conditioning on to pull down the temperature just to do a test, and 5 units out of 55 heated the whole building. It's absolutely phenomenal. That just shows you how well built, and the continuous envelope of the kind of technology that we use, and the economics of our walls and our ceiling and the type of insulation we put in. It's absolutely phenomenal. Backstage here, we have 4 bathrooms that were only planned to be roughed in. We completed all of them. We had a flooring budget of $30,000. Well, that wasn't going to do 34,000 square feet. That just wasn't going to happen. And we knew it would probably only do about 5,000 square feet. But we just said concrete is fine. But guess what? We did over $100,000 worth of flooring in our budget. Now, the reason why we were able to do that much is because we had people that laid our floors down for free. All our carpet was put in for free. Look at that beautiful lobby out there, that concrete, polished concrete that Nick did. It is gorgeous. He didn't charge us a single cent for doing it. And so the resourcefulness of our church, and so many different people, and Mike Wary, I mean, he laid every piece of carpet that we have here. Never charged us a single cent. We had people donate money to help pay for the floors, and we have flooring absolutely everywhere throughout the building. Coming down Creative Place, our entrance road was only supposed to be 24 feet of paving, because we weren't able to pave the shoulders. I said, this place is going to fill up. We're going to have events and things. We need that parking. And so, I was talking to Phil Pittsnoggle about it. He says, I don't care what it takes. We're just going to pave it all. We're going to pave it all. 400 feet of parking. The paving was supposed to stop just behind our building here, but 400 more feet of paving all the way up to the end. We did all that. We did 40 feet coming down through the road instead of 24 feet. And you noticed at a flight before Christmas, there were cars all the way from the end in the field and along both sides of the road all the way out to the beginning of the entrance. We needed that. And so no vehicles are getting stuck. They're parking on blacktop. We've got blacktop up here. And that's just very exciting. We never planned to finish that espresso bar. And Ronnie and Pat, they built the whole thing. I mean, those are not cabinets that were ordered in. They just grabbed wood. Actually, most of it was just all leftover wood that we had back here in the garage. We had a shop that was set up, and they just grabbed everything they could and just started building out of scrap wood. Now, tell me that doesn't look great out there, and it was built out of scrap wood. It is absolutely phenomenal. They built all the drawers and the cupboards and the place for the sink and everything. And it was just looking so good that we had to get a nice Corian counter to be able to put on top of it. And that was the one thing that we invested some money for that out there. And then we put a really nice espresso bar in. Josh lobbied for that for a year. Got to have a good espresso. You remember the old one? Yep, you remember back at the mall, that thing would start letting off steam and blowing water all over that little room that it was in while we were in service, and you'd hear, it sounded like a train coming through the building. And he's like, we got to get rid of this. And we thought we could sell it. We couldn't sell it. Did we sledgehammer that thing or what? I don't know what we did, but anyway, it's gone. I think it ended up in a dumpster somewhere. And our outdoor playground, our indoor playground. We were able to buy the playground equipment, which cost us a little over $20,000 in the indoor playground and then the outdoor playground. I mentioned it one day, sure would love to have a playground out there, but we don't have the money. Somebody came to me right after that service and said, just tell me how much it costs. And ended up paying for that playground that we have outside. And this is why we've been able to do so much that we have done, is because people just kept giving every week. Every week that we were building, people were giving above the budget that we needed to operate to keep doing work. And that's very exciting stuff. And we have certainly lived up to our number one core value, thank you, of building for future generations. And I'm proud to say that today. I'm proud to say, listen, our children, our younger children may never know just how hard we work to make all that happen. And I don't even want them to know. Because one day they'll end up working hard for their own children. Why? Because we've given them that example. I love it that they get to come in here and enjoy this place. I would dare say any of you that have had children, there's been a time or two that you had to drag them out of here. I watch children leaving this place every single week crying their eyes out. Why? Because they love church so much. Oh man, I wish our adults would get that way sometimes, you know. I just can't leave this place. Oh, I watch it all the time. It's just so wonderful to see our kids just falling in love with this great experience that they have week after week here at the church. God has certainly showed us that He is on our side. God has shown us His favor. God has taught us how to dream big. And if we keep marching forward, God will help us to experience things that we've never even dreamed or planned for. God is showing us that today. And I'm glad that our children are seeing some God dreams come true. I love this quote from Walt Disney. I'm almost through my introduction here. All our dreams can come true if we have the courage to pursue them. And I think that is really what identifies this body of people. We are just not afraid of vision. We're not afraid of big vision. We're not afraid of costly vision. Now, I guarantee you, if you want to save some money and that's what you're into, you should find another church to attend. There are much cheaper places to go. But you know what? People keep coming here. Why? Because they care about their children.
They care about their families. They care about their marriage. They care about the spiritual enrichment and enhancement of their families and the knowledge of knowing Jesus Christ as Savior. And that comes at the cost of giving. But in that cost of giving, it is more blessed to give than it is to receive. And the blessing keeps coming back to us. Now Habakkuk the prophet, he gives us 3 steps to delivering a vision. Number 1, make it plain. Make it plain. He says in Habakkuk 2:2, write the vision and make it plain upon tablets. I want to explain to you what these tablets were, because they were boxwood tablets, and they were the kind of tablets that were preserved with wax so that they would last for a long time because they held important messages. Now, the national affairs were engraved in these kind of tablets, and so these were important tablets. He's saying preserve the message. And so that's what I'm going to do today, is I'm going to make the message that I'm delivering to you for 2018, this vision that we have. We want to make it important. We want to preserve it. We want people to be able to see it and to understand. When we did our loan here on the church, knowing that we were limited by what the banks would provide for us, and knowing that everything that we needed to do, if we really would have got all the money we would have wanted, we'd have probably gone somewhere up around $2.8 million. So even things that we still have yet to finish, we would have done them at that time. But in constructing the loan the way that we did, for the first part of that loan, we were guaranteed a certain rate, and then it becomes adjustable. And so the bank has already called us, because it's been 3 years since we secured that loan, through the construction time, the 1 year that we've been here. So we're in our 3rd year, and so we've got a couple of years to redesign that loan, and the bank has already called us and given us recommendations on what we can do. And we're actually pretty excited about that, because there's some great things, some great vision that's going to take place within that restructuring of our finances. And so our trustees, we got together and we talked about this, and we'll be pursuing additional funds to complete the projects that we know that we can now qualify for. And the following projects are things that we want to start this year. We may not finish all of them, but I think we will finish the majority of them. Number 1, when you look at the entrance out here, we've got that old building sitting there, and some people have asked me, you going to tear that down? I know it looks ugly. But no, we're not going to tear it down. We've got vision for that building. We're going to resurrect that into a beautiful welcome center. As a matter of fact, the front entrance coming into this building is what the front entrance of that is going to look like, with the glass and at the angle. And so we're going to have a beautiful welcome center up there. And it's going to be also a station for our police when they're helping us with events and security and the traffic attendants. So we're going to have something nice for that building up there. Number 2, we're going to build a maintenance building. And that maintenance building is going to be close to 10,000 square feet when finished. And we already have water and sewer, and it's prepped for power. Everything is already up there because we had planned for that. And this building will be able to serve all the maintenance needs of our property. Let me tell you, this ministry resort, it takes a lot more to take care of this than what we had in previous time. Because in previous time, all we had was carpet and blacktop. We didn't even have grass to mow, except for the grass that grew up between the blacktop. We mowed that every once in a while, and it felt good. Had a little bit along the road frontage, about 4 or 5 swipes, and that was done. And now we have 27 acres to take care of. You don't even mow it in an hour. As a matter of fact, you don't even mow it in a couple of days. And so it's a full-time work to take care of our property. And with all the equipment and everything that we have, that maintenance building is really going to be able to serve the entire property and all of our buildings when this place is fully built out. But we're going to start that this year. The digital sign that you saw at Adored, and also in a different format that we had for the flight before Christmas. We're going to be buying that sign this year. As a matter of fact, I think we could have it for Easter. I think that'd be cool. So we'll just present it at Easter in another new format, because it's a modular type sign. We can use it in different ways. We can use it in the lobby. We can take it with us to an event. We can do all kinds of things with it. That it's really good technology. And so we are going to be doing that in the real near future. Just up above in the back, right and left, those wings were not planned to be built, but there's a music loft that we're going to finish up there, because we're going to do some songwriting. We're going to write some songs, and so we'll write them on that side and we'll record them on that side, because there's a media loft that is going in there, and we've got some new technology that is going in, because I wish you could see what I see on the backside of how many people beyond our walls are attending this service today and watching this service today. So Alan and I and Josh, and we've been sitting down, we've been talking about how to make this better, and really how to make that live event better online is to have better equipment. And so we're actually going to have a live recording studio up there that will be monitored separately from our sound desk back there to be able to take that to a new level. We're going to furnish our lounges on the second level. We have lounges up there. We use them for our adult classes, and we're going to make them really nice. And now, before I give you this most significant one, the last one that I'm going to give you, let me give you point number 2. So point number 1 was make it plain. Point number 2 is make it public. It's my favorite one. Make it public. So I saved this project for last, but it's the most important one. And that is, we are going to put up a huge billboard digital sign like you'd see here on the stage, just a whole lot bigger than that one, out on the interstate. You've heard me talk about it. It's going to go up this year. I am so excited. I've seen that sign ever since the day before we started our first Sunday, when I was on Prayer Mountain in Phoenix, Arizona, looking across to this direction when God said, I'll put you in front of the largest audience of the city. I didn't even know what it meant at that time, but I could just see the message going out from property that would be along Interstate 81. And so we're going to put up not only a sign out there, we've already had people contribute significantly to that sign as well as this sign, but also now another sign that's going to be like it, just smaller, that is going to go out at our entrance. Our entrance is going to look beautiful. Hey, when people are driving up and down Interstate 81 and they see that big, beautiful sign, the last thing that I want them to see is that old building that's setting up there right now. Okay, so we're going to finish that building up, and then there's going to be a nice, beautiful digital sign that will hang right where our new windsock pole is. It says Airborne Church. It's just going to be one spectacular entrance as people drive in. They tell me now that the number has risen. 100,000 cars a day drive up and down the north and southbound lanes of Interstate 81. That is over the estimate of number of people, 250,000 people every day. And we get to minister to close to right around 1,000 people here. Actually, through the week, it's a lot more than that with our other services that we provide. But we'll say around 1,000 people that we get to minister to on once a week, twice a week with our youth services and other things that we do. But every single day, we can have a voice to over 250,000 people. Tell me that sign is not important. In Habakkuk 2:2, out of the Living Bible translation, as we read it at the beginning, I want to read it to you again. And the Lord said to me, write my answer on a billboard, large and clear, so that everyone can read it at a glance and rush to tell others. Do you know what they'll see on that sign? 250,000. What if just for 2 weeks, we did a major push for our production that we had here, Flight Before Christmas. And we did a push in our advertisements, what we are limited to right now. And we packed the place out for 2 events. One on Saturday night, one on Sunday night. Okay, we would estimate that somewheres between, say, 5,000 and 10,000 people would have personally read our advertisements for our event. What's that going to be like if in 2 weeks we're telling 250,000 people a day what Airborne Church is doing in their community? I tell you, folks, it's like it can't even settle into the mind, because this is a new era for our church in going public with the gospel of Jesus Christ and all that we are doing here at this church. Now, we do many different kind of things, but we all know the one reason and for its purpose is to lead people into a personal relationship with Jesus. We know that's their destiny. From the foundation of the earth, God created them to be in relationship with him. But like Paul, we'll become all things to all people. Why? So that we can win some. And boy, we're going to win some with a sign out on Interstate 81. You say, is the sign going to do it all for us? No. But the sign's going to give every individual person sitting here today a new platform to be able to go public with your own message. All it's going to do is support everything that you are saying. It's going to be a brand new talking point of our community. Oh, I got some more stuff I want to say here. So let me go ahead and just give you a few of the things that they might read on the sign out there. They might read of an event that is coming up, a concert, a Christmas production, special Easter services, a community event, a bike rally, a car show, a softball tournament, fireworks. People will be saying, what doesn't that church do? Last week, Mario, this is one of my favorites. Last week, Mario was talking about finding purpose. You imagine, every day now, with a single message, make it plain. He says, put it on a billboard. In other words, don't get too descriptive with it. Make it plain. Make it so plain so that somebody that is rushing by, that's what the scripture says, somebody that is rushing by or running by can look at it at a glance and go, oh, that's what the scripture's saying. And so I was thinking last week when Mario was speaking that incredible message, how many know that Mario did a great job last week talking about purpose? Wow. And while he was talking about purpose, I was thinking, can you just imagine Jeremiah 29:11 being the morning devotion on Interstate 81 for our city that would say, God has good plans for you, exclamation mark. That Jeremiah 29:11, that would be the morning Bible study for our city. Oh yes, every single day we will get the chance in a relevant way, making it plain so that as they rush by, they can have a second thought that they may not have ever had about God having plans for them. 250,000 people a day. There is not another church that has had this kind of opportunity on Interstate 81 for its whole 860 some miles. This is going to be a rare opportunity that God is going to give us. Oh, I can tell you, God has good plans for everybody, and we need to get that message out. We are going to speak into this city until it's known as the city that worships God. It's not going to be known for its drugs and its drug trafficking. It's going to be known as the city that worship God. Hold on, wait. That's what they write about. That's what they put on TV. But when I drive by that sign, every time I go through Martinsburg, that city's worshiping God in some way or another. I can't believe what the papers are telling me anymore. I'm going to tell you, when we start to speak something new into existence, it's going to give God room to move in this community and in this area. Oh, that's why I'm so excited about this one. Can I say it again? God will be worshiped in this city. God is going to be worshiped, and glory is going to be given to his name as we begin to take the plain message but powerful message to people that need to hear it. I'm more excited about that sign than I am building this building, because that's our message. That's our public voice. This is a vehicle. The sign is the vehicle, but what we put on the sign is our public voice and our message to the city. See, the church's purpose is not to build private houses of worship, but public buildings of influence. That's what he's called us to do. And I'll tell you this, if our churches don't transition into becoming public places of influence, the future generations will see the church as outdated, irrelevant, and too private for their interests. Oh, we live in a public world. Everybody's going public. And I think the church needs to step out ahead and be public as well. Number three, Habakkuk 2:2, we find that he's saying, make it urgent. Make it urgent, so that anyone can read it at a glance and rush to tell others. So not only are they going to see it at a glance as they are driving by, but it's like, my goodness, did you hear what they're doing this coming Sunday? Did you hear what they got going on this Saturday afternoon for the family? Oh my gosh, I got to go tell the rest of my family. That's where we're going this weekend. And so he says to have some urgency about it. And we're going to have some urgency about it, that is the number one thing that I'm going to work on, and our team is going to work on this summer, is to get that sign up. There should always be a sense of urgency about going public with God's grace. Because going public with God's grace is the mission of this church. Mark 16:15, I'll finish with this. It says, go into all the world and preach the good news to everyone. This church has a message for everyone. Not a message for Sunday morning attenders. We got that too, and that's part of what we do. But Paul tells us that the Sunday morning service is to encourage, to edify, and to spur on to good works. It's not even really to deliver the message of the good news of Jesus Christ, but to encourage you to go beyond the walls and go public with the message of Jesus Christ. If we can have that kind of mentality that what we do as a church is more significant outside of the walls of our buildings than inside the walls, then I got to tell you, we'll end up having a great vision to spread this around in our community. I really believe this. With what we will do on this property and from that sign, it'll be something so unique that in 10 years or so, because of what we're doing, there'll be churches up and down interstates in every state throughout this country that will be doing it because we help pave the way for it. most people in church, I've heard about the signs that they've tried to put up, and members would fight it. Let me just say, if you've had one thought about fighting what we want to do with that sign, and I really don't think there's anybody, there's enough of us to beat you up. So it'd be you against the rest of us. I can say that and we can all laugh because we are all in the vision. And we are all about taking this gospel into our city. Listen, we don't want to spend all our time getting better at church services, but getting better at going into all the world and preaching the gospel. Let's stand.